On the 25th of April 2011, a new to the industry stuntman, Matt Cranch, stepped into the spotlight at a packed show in Kent, England, as part of Scott May's Daredevil stunt show. The stunt he was performing was the human cannonball. Instead of a routine performance, it would become the focus of national headlines, as the net meant to catch Matt failed, resulting in deadly consequences. This incident triggered a full investigation that would uncover critical safety oversights and ultimately lead to a damning verdict against the show's operator. But what exactly happened that day? Let's talk about it. This is the human cannonball disaster, the death of Matthew Cranch. Not much is known about Matt Cranch's early life, but we do know that he was born sometime in 1986 or 1987 in the Isle of Man, a small island located in the Irish Sea between England and Ireland. His father, Michael Cranch, was a company director, and his mother was a teacher, and he had a nice upbringing. However, from an early age, he seemed to walk a little bit on the wild side. His school friend Sam Waugh said, "He was clever at school, particularly science, but he hated the mainstream. He opted out. He became obsessed with a PlayStation game called Stuntman. When we were young, if there was anything dangerous, he was there. He would climb highest up the tree. He seemed to love adrenaline." His other friend, Mark Caulfield, said, "He was a thrill seeker who was always up for a laugh." His parents described him as a free spirit, which led him to move off the Isle of Man and move to Newquay, Cornwall. Whilst over in mainland England, in March of 2011, Matt joined the Scott May's Daredevil stunt show as a stuntman and became part of the regular touring show. According to their website, the Scott May's Daredevil stunt show began in 1991, and they have performed over 2,500 shows since. Scott May himself is known as one of the UK's craziest stuntmen, and at one of their shows you can expect to see stunts including double-decker buses, car crashes, motorcycle jumps, fire stunts, and much more. Up until 2011, they also performed a human cannonball stunt. The human cannonball stunt is a performance act in which a person is launched through the air from a specifically designed cannon-like device. This stunt has its origins in the late 19th century, during a time when circuses and travelling shows were constantly seeking new and daring acts to thrill the audience. The very first known human cannonball was a 14-year-old girl named Rosa Matilda Richer, who performed under the stage name Zazel. In 1877, she was launched from a spring-powered device at the Royal Aquarium in London. Her act was inspired by the spectacle of cannon fire. Though it was not a true cannon with explosives, the performance mimicked the explosive blast for dramatic effect. Newer performers have pushed the limits of distance and height. Despite the entertainment value, the act remains extremely dangerous. There have been several fatalities, often due to miscalculated landings or equipment failure. As a result, the number of performers specialising in this act remains small. According to Wikipedia, since this stunt has begun, over 30 people have died performing it, and in April of 2011, disaster would strike for Matt Cranch as he performed the act for just the 5th time. The date was the 25th of April 2011. According to the show owner, the human cannonball stunt was a showpiece and had been performed over 1,000 times with no problem. He thought that day would be the same. Matt had only been working in the show for 4 weeks, and at this point had performed the human cannonball 5 times. This time, the show was sold out with just over 2,000 people there to witness his act, many of these being children. According to witness Peter Tupper from Maidstone, Matt walked out in front of the crowd and gave everyone a wave before placing himself inside of the cannon. Rob Hutchinson from Kent said, "The net was already up. He climbed out on top and climbed down into the tube. They gave his countdown, then he came out of the tube. He was probably 30 or 40 feet in the air at least." The following was caught on camera, although the moment of the fall has been taken out. Matt was fired at least 30 feet into the air, but something had gone terribly wrong with the safety net. As he was fired up, the net began to lower, something that only should have happened after Matt hit it. Rob went on to say, "He turned over and then the last picture I've got of him, you can see the net is flat on the floor, not up in the air, and he is coming down head first towards the ground. I saw him hit the floor and bounce. He would later compare this to a dummy being thrown from the air. The crowd at this point had no idea if it was part of the show or not, but an announcer quickly stated, "This is an accident. This is not meant to have happened." Matt lay unconscious on the floor as emergency services rushed to deal with the situation. He had suffered multiple injuries. He was seen to by the St. John ambulance team and quickly transported to Maidstone Hospital. Sadly, Matt would go on to die the same day. The show was evacuated and future shows later in the month were cancelled. An investigation was then launched. The question on everybody's mind was, how could something like this happen? This information would be released at the inquest. The judge said, "The quick release mechanism should have only been activated once the fire was safely in the net, but on the day of the tragedy, at the precise moment Mr. Cranch was fired from the barrel of the cannon, it instantaneously activated so that the net collapsed to the ground. In plain English, the quick release for the net was set incorrectly, and when the cannon was fired, it triggered, causing the net to fall to the ground." The chief mechanic who dealt with this net also had no qualifications as a mechanic. He told the inquest that when he set the latch for the show, he would listen for a click to know it had been locked. He had no clue that the latch could not be fully locked. Prosecutor Mark Watson said because the net was under tension, as soon as it was released, the net released the hooks and it collapsed to the ground. It did so in quick fashion, within 2 to 3 seconds. It was only intended to be activated after a fire was caught in the safety net. He went on to say that the health and safety at the show was completely unprofessional. Not only were members of staff not trained well, the clothing Matt wore, such as his crash helmet, was nowhere near efficient enough to protect him during a fall. Scott May, who ran the show, was at the centre of the inquest. His representative, Tanya Robinson, said that they were not ignoring safety risks, but they were unaware that this could have happened. By the end of the inquest, Scott admitted health and safety breaches, and his company was fined £100,000. Although he did avoid prison time, he was handed a 12-month community order and had to carry out 150 hours of unpaid work. The judge said the defendants accepted this. He said, "They accept had they known what they know now, they would have taken steps, and timely steps, to reduce or eliminate the risk which was undoubtedly there." Ultimately, the case was marked down as accidental death. At the hearing, Scott May personally apologised to Matt's family. He made sure that the human cannonball stunt would never be performed again at one of his shows. After the hearing, his family said, "Today's sentence is about getting justice for Matthew. It has always been about that. We would like to say thank you to everyone who has supported us over the past 5 years, in particular, our family and Matthew's friends, without whom we could have not have got to where we are today." Matthew was a free spirit. He was a truly genuine guy. He brought to the world a kindness, gentleness, sensitivity, fairness, an incredible sense of humour, an unforgettable smile, and the very best of big hugs. We will always be grateful and thankful for his love and the time we were able to spend together. The loss of our son is a matter we can never accept or recover from. His funeral was held at the Douglas Crematorium in the Isle of Man. May he rest in peace. As always, this is not an AI channel, I do everything myself, and if you appreciate my work, subscribe, and if you want to go the extra step to support the channel, maybe consider becoming a member. Let me know what you thought about this case in the comments below, and as always, thank you for watching.